Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Westie Parent Podcast. I am very excited and honestly a little bit nervous too because this is my first podcast ever. So let me do a quick intro. You may know us from Instagram and YouTube if you've been following us there. You may know us as Westie Vibes. And now we are starting a podcast. My name is Miruna. I am originally from Romania and I live in Portugal now. And here with me, I have Sami, aka Sami the Westie. If you have been following us for some time, you may already know him. And if you don't, well, you're in for a treat. Sami is a West Highland White Terrier or a Westie, and he will be turning 7 years old this September. And he's just the world's best dog. And yeah, of course, I'm going to say that because he's my dog, but really, he's my first dog and he's my soul dog. You know, if you believe in soul dogs, then he is definitely mine. He is the reason why I'm doing all this. He's the reason why I started an Instagram account almost 7 years ago when he was a puppy, because he was just so cute and I wanted to share him with the whole world. He's the reason why I started making YouTube videos about dogs, because I was learning everything from scratch, right? Because I never had a dog before having him. So there was a lot that I was learning and I wanted to share all of those things with other people like me who also didn't know what they were doing. And now he's the reason why we have the biggest community of Westie parents in the world, which is absolutely mind blowing. So, why did I want to start a podcast? Well, after connecting with so many Westie parents over the years, I wanted to create a space where we can all just sit down, relax, and just talk. Talk about our Westies, talk about our experiences, a place where I can just show up and tell you about Sami's latest adventure, what he's been up to in this past week, or funny things that he does, or even, the real stuff like health um, issues that I'm having with him and things that we're going through, that are not always easy. So it's a little bit different from our usual YouTube videos because I feel like with the videos, it's more about him, right? He's on the screen for most of the time. I try to always film him, and so that you enjoy watching and that you laugh, and it's mostly him performing, to say so. And I feel like with a podcast, I would be able to talk about maybe more in-depth topics about what it's like having a Westie from the perspective of me, the Westie parent. So that is the main reason why I wanted to start this podcast. And I also hope that this will be a good way for us to connect, have other Westie parents like you probably listening to this comment and talk about your dogs and talk about what it's like having a Westie. So then we can just all start conversations about what it's like to have these little amazing dogs in our lives. And let's be honest, Westies are characters. Sami is smart. He is stubborn. He's bossy, and he's just used to getting his own way always, which is, part of the fun of having one, I guess. But it's also sometimes it drives you crazy. But he's also really funny and loving on his own terms when he wants. It's not everything happens on his terms, but he can be very sweet and affectionate. Somehow he manages to run the whole house, even though he only weighs 8 kilos. That is the magic, if you will, of having a Westie. And if you live with one, then you know what I'm talking about. They are not easy. So I thought I would share a few fun facts about Sami. He loves to be the center of attention. I mean, I guess it comes with being a Westie. It just comes out of the factory. He just loves to always be in the middle of things. Nothing can ever happen without him. If I have friends coming over, or just anybody really, he just needs to come and see who it is, what's going on. Are we having fun without him? And that is a real thing. Like, he has terrible FOMO, fear of missing out. He's just absolutely, and he's super curious too. So he pays attention. He's always really, I don't know how other dogs are really. I don't know if it's a Westie thing or not, but he just hears, his ears go up whenever something unusual is going on around him. And he listens to our conversations. And if we happen to say a word that sounds like a snack or like a dog or a cat or, things like that, he just perks up. He just makes connections really, really fast. Like, if I say cat in Romanian, because both me and my husband Bobby, we're Romanians, so we mostly talk to him in Romanian at home, even though his commands are in Portuguese. We talk to him in Romanian. So if I say the word cat in Romanian, he will just perk up and go right to the window so that he can see, where is the cat? Like, where is it? Where is it? He just, it's something that we didn't even teach him. He just figured it out on his own. And that happened with many other things, like the word dog or dogs. If you say dog around him, the same reaction, except he doesn't want to hunt the dog. He wants to probably fight them. He's really, really funny like that. He loves to chase pigeons in the street. That is a hobby that he has. And that is something that I don't know if I necessarily taught him, but I did encourage him because I thought it was funny. And now I regret it, of course, because every time, we walk down the street, he sees a group of pigeons and he just darts trying to, I don't know, catch them. But yeah, he does that. Another thing that I taught him, not very well it seems, but I taught him how to catch flies. If there is a fly in the house, he will jump, run, you climb, trying to catch the fly. He never manages to catch it. So let's be real about it. He's not good at it at all. It's not a talent or anything, but he loves trying. And that is also something that I regret teaching him, because a few weeks ago, we were on vacation somewhere in the countryside, and there were a lot of bees buzzing around. And he doesn't know the difference between a fly and a bee, you know? So basically, if it flies and it buzzes, it must be something he needs to catch. So it was just a challenge trying to get him to not catch the bee, because it could be so dangerous, if he swallows one or we don't want the bee to sting him, obviously. So, and now I can't unteach him that. So that is something I regret teaching him, and he has a fantastic memory, so it's not going anywhere. He will probably, for his entire life, he will probably try to catch insects, flying insects. And speaking of memory, I don't know if your dogs are the same, but Sami has this unbelievable memory, like an elephant's memory, with things that are important to him. Somehow, he can forget a command or a trick just like that. But if it's something that it's food related, he will remember that forever. Like, he once found a snack somewhere down the street at a corner. And for, I don't know, probably months, every time we would go that way, he would go looking for the snack because he found one once and he's convinced that there should be more. And the same goes for the pet shop. We have a pet shop 5 minutes away from where we live. And once I made the, poor judgment. Let's not call it mistake, but it was not the best decision that I made. I took him to this pet shop to get, I don't know, snacks probably. I buy these bags of dried dehydrated fish snacks, and I don't know what they're called, but most pet shops have these treats that are basically not packaged, so they are just on some low shelves and they sell them by the piece. And there are these in the shape of a bone and in all kinds of shapes. They're just lying there, and he was sniffing around them, and I let him choose one. I said, okay, you want one? I'm going to get you one. So he picks his snack. I pay for it. He takes it in his mouth, carries it all the way home. I'm not even kidding you. He didn't stop once to pee. He didn't stop to sniff, which is something that never happens. He was so happy that he got this treat. So he would just hold it and walk really proudly. And, only when we got home did he put it down to chew on it, to eat it. He wasn't, he was not interested in other dogs walking by the street, nothing. And since then, every time we go within, I don't know, a mile of that pet shop, every time we're in the general area of that pet shop, he will pull on the leash, wanting to go to the pet shop because he knows there are more treats like that and that he needs more. So without meaning to, I started this habit where he's just relentless. Every time I go in that way, he knows that the pet shop is around there and he will pull on the leash trying to get me to go there. So sometimes I go there, I take him, and I will get him another treat. And I just need to make sure that he poops before I do that, because otherwise he's not going to poop. All he wants, if he gets a treat, all he wants is to get it home. So yeah, he has an absolutely crazy, crazy memory. You can't fool him. Nothing goes, past him. The funniest thing was when Bobby, Sami's dad, walked him one day after this pet shop episode, and Bobby had no idea about the pet shop. He didn't know that I took Sami to the pet shop, that I bought him a treat. I just didn't mention it to him, I guess. So he walks Sami, and Sami all of a sudden starts pulling somewhere. And Bobby was so confused. He was like, he didn't want to, do his business. All he wanted was to go in that direction. And I don't get it. I don't know why he did that. And I was like, I know why he did that. It's because of the pet shop. That's why. Yeah. So that's just, the kind of thing that I deal with on a daily basis almost with my dog. He is truly a character. And he's also kind of internet famous. He has friends from all over the world, and I actually mean that. We actually made friends with so many people thanks to this community of Westie parents. We just got to meet people that we would never get to meet, if it wasn't for Sami, if it wasn't for our dogs. Thanks to mainly the Instagram, where that's where our biggest community is right now. And we got to just connect with other Westie parents who were following us. And whenever we travel somewhere, sometimes we get to meet them face to face. And we got to make friends with some of them in France and New York and all kinds of places like that where we were just like posting on Instagram, we're traveling, we're going to be there next week. And then all of a sudden people are DMing me, oh, I live there, let's meet. And it's just the most amazing thing. It blows my mind that sometimes we get recognized on the street. Sami actually gets recognized on the street, I should say. It's not us. It's Sami. Yeah, he got recognized on the street several times, twice in New York, which was so random. We went to New York 2 years ago for a few weeks, and we took Sami with us, of course, because he comes with us everywhere we go. And we were there like on the first morning. We were walking down the street, and a couple just approached us with the phone, with the Instagram account open, Westie Vibes, and just say hi and welcome. And it was just really unexpected and really cute. I feel like the fact that I chose to start this Instagram and the YouTube videos, and the fact that I chose to share Sami, I guess, with the world, has changed my life and our lives in a number of ways. And I am just so grateful for that. And I feel like it helps me, it helps me in many times when Sami has a health issue, which has happened a few times over the years. And I can just post about it and get all this support from people, and so many loving messages of just people who care about Sami and people who I've never met. So it's an amazing thing. And it makes certain things feel easier. This is pretty much what I hope that this podcast will achieve. I hope that we will be able to connect a little bit more than we previously did, because I feel like this is a place where you can have deeper conversations about what's going on. But beyond the fame and the cuteness, I wanted to start this podcast because being a dog parent isn't always perfect. I mean, obviously, nothing is. There are all kinds of health issues and struggles with behavior and Westitude, and just moments when you wonder, am I doing this right? And I have those all the time. And so far, just having this community, creating this Instagram and the YouTube videos has provided me with a lot of support from amazing people who just made me feel less alone in all kinds of moments, like moments when Sami's had some health issues, and this happened quite a few times over the years, or just moments when I just didn't know what to do, or moments when something's going on but I don't know what, so I'm posting about it and people just text me, and there's this community feeling that I didn't even know I needed before having a dog. So yeah, the reason why I started this podcast is so that we could have a space where conversations could start, and where I can come here once a week and just share these things with you, and then we can chat about it. And sometimes it'll just be me sharing stories and experiences with Sami, like what we've been up to, or things that are funny, or things that I usually talk to with Bobby and we laugh about it. And I'm really looking forward to sharing those things with you here. And every now and then, I would like to also bring in other Westie parents and have a guest on here and sit down with them and chat about our dogs. That would be really amazing. I would love to know what you think about that. And since we are doing this, come and say hi in the comments. Introduce yourself and tell me about your Westie. I want to hear all about it. So leave me a comment and say hi. So one thing I realized I wanted to talk about and I didn't is, why did I name the podcast The Westie Parent? And the reason is that, I could have named it probably The Westie Owner or something like that. But I feel like when you have a dog, and this is something that I didn't even think of before I had a dog, it really feels like you're a parent, you know? I remember before having a dog, I used to, hear some people refer to themselves as a mommy or a daddy, to their dog. And look, I've always loved dogs, but I thought it was weird. If I'm going to be honest, I thought it was weird. And I didn't really get it. And I didn't really think that I would ever think like that. I felt like, no, you're a dog owner, because they're not your child. But after I had Sami, and it probably took me a week of having a dog to realize that there is so much more into all this, having a dog business than just feeding them and walking them. And it truly feels like they are your child. And especially if you don't have kids. I don't have kids, so he is my child in every way. But even people who have kids that I talk to, they tell me my dog is one of my kids. And sometimes my dog is even harder than my kids, because it takes more effort to raise them in some ways. So I feel that I changed my thinking quite quickly after having Sami. And it did, it does feel like you're raising a dog. You're not just their owner. You are actually taking care of them and socializing them when they're a puppy, and then also when they're adults. You take care of them when they feel sick. You take them to the vet and you comfort them, and you make them feel better. So you correct their behavior whenever they're doing something that you don't like. You try to teach them better. And I guess there are so many things that make having a dog more like being a parent, right? And so far, every person that I've met who has a dog, I feel like they agree. They agree with me. So I'm curious, what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I felt like naming it the Westie Parent would be the best name for it, This was our first episode of the Westie Parent Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. There's a new episode coming out every Tuesday, so tune in. Let me know if you have any questions that you would like me to answer in future episodes. Leave them in the comments. Share this with your friends and family, or anyone you know who loves Westies too. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Westie Vibes, and listen and subscribe to the Westie Parent Podcast on any platform where you get your podcasts. See you next time on the Westie Parent.